So as I mentioned, this Friday we had an inter-squad scrimmage as well as a dunk contest, three-point contest. Nate Oates was interviewed, and it was just a big event for Alabama basketball. But the big, token thing was kind of twofold. They were unveiling the Final Four banner, and they were giving out the rings for the team from last season. And for fans that attended this game, you got a replica of the Final Four banner, as you'll see behind me. As you may know, I was not at this game. Shout out to my girlfriend for grabbing me a replica banner. I really appreciate it. It's an awesome addition here to the office, as well as a poster that's now going to hang in my office. I've not hung it yet. But they gave out these posters, which I've now framed, and I'm going to put it up here in the office as well. So that's what they gave out to people that attended this event and were witness to, obviously, the banner unveiling and everything that came with Friday night. So first off, they did like I said, they did the dunk and 3-point contest. The dunk contest, we saw Derrion Reid end up winning that after the dunk over Big Al. And Cliff Amore really had, in my opinion, one of the more impressive dunk attempts. He had 2 balls and kind of went for both of them and was honestly very, very close to hitting them. It was just really cool to see some of the new guys and the hops that they have. And then Mark Sears lit it up from deep in the 3-point contest, ended up winning that. Key note that Latrell Reitzel did not participate in any of the events. He, as well as Aiden Sherrill, are both day-to-day with lower leg injuries. And then, as we've mentioned previously, Chris Youngblood is out until, probably, mid-December. For sure back by conference play. I've heard some rumors as early as potentially the UNC game. But, there were 3 people that were out in this game, or for all of the events. Then the squad scrimmage happened, and it was, Team Crimson versus Team White. And it was 2 12-minute halves. And the 12-minute halves were Mark Sears, Cliff Amore, Jaron Stevenson, Derrion Reid, and Houston Millette versus Phylon, Holloway, Grant Nelson, Mo D, and Nas. And White ended up beating Crimson 61-57. And the big key takeaway for most people, I think, with this is kind of twofold. It's LeBaron Phylon is as good as advertised, if not better, and he is going to be an instant contributor. Cliff Amore, again, absolutely as advertised. He was explosive when it came to the offensive end with dunks. He was a great rim protector. Poor Max Charnowski got absolutely dunked on when he had to come in from Mo Diabate. And just all in all, it was, we had a couple of guys that were just absolutely as advertised. Mark Sears, again, showing what he does best. And then Aiden Holloway, he's one that a lot of people were unsure what to expect, him coming over from Auburn. But he was just an absolute assist machine, right? It's very clear that he's going to be able to run the offense. And as we talked about when Alabama landed him not having the restrictions on the set plays and having more of a framework with how to play basketball with speed and space is much better fit to his style. And it's pretty clear that he's picked up the offense based on everything that I've heard. And, kind of this went to show it. But like I said, the person that is talked about the most at this point, whether you're in the Crimson Crossover Discord or what you're in, is LeBaron Phylon. He's the one that is kind of not the main one that you hear when you think of the incoming freshman class. That's typically either Derrion Reid or Aiden Sherrill, right? Both 5-star guys. But LeBaron Phylon has shown the ability. We knew he was a scorer, right? You knew coming out of Link Academy and out of Mobile, he was a great scorer. But his defense and his intensity in which he plays with is something that I think the coaching staff completely did not expect. In fact, it was, from what I have heard, the reason why they had not originally really recruited him quite as hard, because there was a thought that he was just a scorer and could not play defense. And that has completely turned around. And he just has looked absolutely incredible and has lit it up scoring and with defensive intensity in all the scrimmages thus far. There's some reports on, how much he scored in the prior scrimmage, and it was more than the 18 points he scored in this one, right? Cliff, Mark, and LeBaron all tied with 18 to kind of lead all scorers in the scrimmage. And again, this is just the next kind of progression of you get it, this freshman coming in, and like I said, I think he's going to be better than advertised. The other thing that we'll want to note with Team White, and I think a big reason that helped them, is Grant Nelson shot the ball great from deep in this game. That is a thing with Grant Nelson being able to play his true position at the 4. He's going to be matched up on a different type of player than he was last season when we had to have him play the 5. I mean, against Purdue last season, he was banging with Zach Edey, right? Against UConn, he was up against Klingon. At the end of the day, Grant Nelson was having to play much more of the 5. Cliff has shown that he clearly is going to be able to handle his own at the 5, and Grant's going to be able to shift that natural 4 position, and it's just going to be so much better for him. We knew that coming in, but I think this really showed that overall. Want to quickly kind of show some videos of the banner and ring reveals that the university put out, just so that anybody that maybe has not seen them can see them. I'll play those over this now, just like I said, so that you can make sure you see what the banner looks like, as well as the rings that the team got. And then the last thing I do want to talk about, since I recorded this later on Monday, the official first AP poll is out. And Alabama basketball is ranked second in this preseason AP poll, the highest ranking in school history for an AP poll. And that is up from 7th, which was our previous highest. And when you look at the schedule, which Alabama plays, and we've talked a lot about how difficult Alabama's schedule is, but when you see the rankings next to some of these names, it really puts it into perspective. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt because it is preseason rankings. And if football preseason rankings with Florida State in the top 10 tell us anything, it's not always perfect. However, the preseason rankings are Alabama's going to play the number 4, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 21, 23, 24, and 25 teams in the country. Just an absolute dominant schedule, right? And that's non-conference games. Number 4, Houston. Number 9, North Carolina. Number 14, Purdue, 15, Creighton, and 25 Rutgers, right? So that's just an absolute insane schedule. Again, we know Nate Oates is very used to this. This is what he likes to do. This is how he prepares his team for March. But, the schedule is absolutely insane. The last thing I want to mention before we move on to football, relating to the schedule, is this Friday, October the 18th, there will be a scrimmage, or really an exhibition game, that's a charity exhibition played in Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham called Bama and Boutwell. That's going to be streamed live on Hibbett's YouTube channel. The next round guys are going to be commentating, and that's going to be against Wake Forest. So this is your first chance if you were not able to attend this event, as I was not, or have not seen anything of this event outside of some highlights. Again, I've seen some videos that some friends took and some videos that obviously the athletic department had put online. But your first live chance to be able to see this team is Bama and Boutwell. Again, it's going to be Boutwell Auditorium, October the 18th, 7 o'clock, and it will be streamed live on Hibbett's YouTube channel from everything that we've seen. So that is your first chance to kind of see Alabama basketball before the next scrimmage and then first game of the season.